bees will keep dying. It's gonna change the balance in the nature, and it will affect humanity very much. Why it's happening? So any beekeeper knows that there are mites. We call them varroa mites. These varroa mites are parasites. They kill bees. There's so many beekeepers that lose bees every year because of varroa mites. So these mites affect bees and beekeeping industry dramatically. Every year these varroa mites become stronger and stronger, and bees become weaker and weaker. I want to explain why it's happening. Beekeepers use poisons and chemicals to kill the mites. But the thing is, these poisons and chemicals cannot kill all mites. They can kill some of them, sometimes even 80%. Let's imagine these are mites, right? And beekeepers, by using chemicals or poisons, kill most of them. So let's say they would kill this amount, this percentage of mites, right? They killed. And beekeepers think they helped the bees, but they did the opposite. So these mites that survived, because you cannot kill all mites with chemicals or poisons, so it's gonna be survivors. So this percent of the mites that survived, they will reproduce and create the mites that are genetically different from this genetically weaker mites that were killed by certain chemical. So the same chemical is not gonna work against this kind of mites. All the mites that they produce are gonna be very strong and resistant to the chemicals that beekeepers use. This is why many chemicals that beekeepers used before to kill the mites, they don't work anymore. So this way, beekeepers make mites stronger and stronger every year. It's kind of selection. Beekeepers kill the weaker, genetically weaker mites, and they select the strongest and best ones. So it's gonna be harder and harder to fight with these mites. After treating the bees and killing the mites, most of them, beekeeper might think, oh, it's so nice, I saved my bees, I killed most of the mites, it's good. But the problem is, he just created the monsters, and these monsters are not gonna be sensitive to this poison anymore. So I hope you understand why these parasites that kill bees become stronger. Bees are getting weaker and weaker every year. If beekeepers didn't use chemicals or poisons to kill the mites, the bee colonies that are genetically weak would be killed by mites, right? And the colonies that are genetically resistant to the mites would survive. So it would create like natural selection. Genetically weak colonies would not reproduce. They would die. Because beekeepers are trying to control the mites artificially, they produce genetically weak colonies every year. So most of the bees right now are genetically weak, and mites are getting stronger and stronger every year. And it's gonna be time when these chemicals and poisons that beekeepers use will not work anymore. And most of the bees, I'm afraid it's gonna be over 90%, will be killed by mites. The nature is built the way where weak genetic cannot procreate. This is why every generation is getting stronger and stronger, more developed. But with artificial beekeeping, every generation is degrading. It's getting weaker and weaker because they don't let the bees to fight the mites. That would be natural if the bees could fight the mites and develop these genetic qualities where bees could kill the mites naturally. What to do? The only way to save the bees is to stop treating them, to stop using chemicals, to stop using poisons. Just let them develop this genetic strength naturally. It's gonna take a lot of time, especially now. The longer you use chemicals on bees, the longer it's gonna take for them to recover after that. And it's gonna be a lot of losses because beekeepers weaken the bee population.